and welcome to the Can-Am GNC Series, the most premier off-road racing series in the world. I'm Rachel Ayers.
And I'm Rodney Smith, your 5-time GNCC champion.
We're making our third stop of the Grand National Cross Country Series here in Morganton, North Carolina. And Rodney, you've rode this track time and time again. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, definitely, Rachel. We're finally out of the Florida sand and the Georgia red clay. We're here in North Carolina where the hills are steep, the woods are deep. The trail here is typically a lot tighter and the racing gets to be a lot closer racing. Typically, the guys from South Carolina and North Carolina seem to do a lot better here.
Last week in Georgia, we had a little bit of tension between Bill Balance and Chris Borch. Out on the track, they were pushing each other around and bumping out there. It looked like it brought a lot of tension here today.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're seeing, Bill Balance is the reigning champion of this series, and I think we're seeing Borch, who wants that championship bad. We got two top competitors that have showed in the first two rounds. It's going to be a long year, and I think Borch has shown that he wants this championship as bad as anybody.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, the tension is high. Chris Borch has declared that it's on for today.
Thanks a lot, Rachel and Rodney. Jason Wygant up here in the booth to give you the call of the race action. There you see Borch second in points. He's not happy about it, and he talked to us about the incident last week.
No, we came into the pits and entered a pit row, and normally any other time we came in there wide open. That time we came in and jabbed the brakes. I was right on him, gave him a little tap, and I wasn't ramming him or anything. Gave him a little love tap, let him know I was there.
All right, here we go. Borch is there today, as is Balance and the rest of the field, and we are racing here in North Carolina, and look at who's got the whole shot. It is indeed Borch on the number 2, the East Coast ATV Honda, and right behind him there in the blue Yamaha is Balance. So the Killer Bees are up to their old tricks again, but this is a big change for Borch, getting the good start. The first 2 rounds this year, he has had horrible starts, and they did extensive engine work, and it works, because he's got himself a whole shot now. Balance there right behind him, and there's Adam McGill, the sophomore here in the XC1 Pro class, off to the 3rd place start early. And there have been really 2 battles so far this year. The battle between these two, Borch and Balance, and the battle between everyone else trying to stay with them. McGill has a great opportunity today with a good start, and he likes this track. We talked to him before the race.
Yeah, we're back to what I like to do. This is why we call it woods racing, to get down the mud and the rocks and the hills like we're born and bred to do. I'm looking for a good finish today. It's good track, dry, not a whole lot of mud. It looks like great terrain, so hopefully Racer Productions got us a good track for today.
Well, the track looks good so far. Balance here having to play role reversal. He's been out front early the first couple of rounds. Let's talk to him.
I expect it to be the same thing. It's going to be a battle like always, and it's a tighter track here, so I think there's going to be more riders that's closer together. But I feel more confident than I've ever felt in my life. My training's been, I've been training my butt off, and this bike's working good. And if they want to turn something on, let's go with it. I'm ready to go.
Now, it's kind of interesting. Balance and Borch have been battling very hard the last 3 years in this series. They've been number 1 and number 2. But the tensions have never really boiled over until that incident that we saw last time out in Georgia. So we're going to see now if it affects the way the racing goes, or have they put that behind them, and are they just going to duke it out on the racetrack only today? And you see how close they are to each other. That's the way it goes in cross-country racing. You can try to sprint and get away from your rival early, but these are long races, and you've got to save your energy. So we will see what strategy these guys use. Let's check in with our 4th place rider, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, this track has always been a lot of fun for me. Getting the hills and everything, it's really a lot of fun with all the terrain here. It really gets rough down along the creek, and the hills hold together real good, and just hopefully get through there without the lappers getting stuck in front of us so we can keep the hills clear. And it seems like that can sometimes be a problem here, but other than that, it's a really good track.
Well, we were talking about strategy. That is another factor. You can try to sprint and get away from the guys early. You will eventually run into lap traffic. So our first look this year at Don Ackerman leading the XC2 Pro-Am class. They start on the 2nd row, and those are the stars of the future of this series. Ackerman's rival is Brandon Summers. He won the first 2 rounds, backed by GT Thunder and Yamaha, running 2nd today. Borch, Balance, and McGill continue to be our top 3 overall, though. Here in this Can-Am GNCC round in North Carolina, you see the tree roots coming up. The ruts are getting deeper. We already have run a couple of races on this track. We had a youth race this morning, and then a morning race with our 4x4 classes, women, beginner riders, classes for everyone in this series. But all those ATVs, about 600 of them out here this weekend, it's taken a toll. It's made this racetrack rough. No problems for the Killer Bees, though. Borch and Balance continue to roll with lap 1 in the books. Let's go to our Rocky Mountain tip of the week.
Hello, I'm William Yoakley, Pro ATV GNCC racer, and I'm here this week with the Rocky Mountain Rider tip of the week. This week's tip of the week is protection. We wear a lot of protective gear on our bodies, and one of the more critical ones is the chest protector. I like to wear the ProFlex chest protector because it offers a unique design that features fully adjustable shoulders, front panel, and rear panel to allow for the perfect fit. The arm guards offer maximum roost deflection and are also removable. These chest protectors are available in clear black, red, blue, yellow, and orange. Another really important piece of safety equipment that we wear on our bodies are knee and shin guards. The ARC ProFlex knee and shin guard is a high-impact plastic knee and shin guard that offers full coverage protection even above the knee. It features a pivoting hinge for ultimate protection and comfort and has biofoam padding with air channels to allow for ventilation and is fully adjustable and padded strap. You can find these and other great ARC products at RockyMountainATVMC.com.
Welcome back to the GNCC series on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, and Yamaha. Jason Wygant here giving you the call. We're going to flash back to a little bit earlier this morning with our youth race. These are riders aged 6 to 15 on a little bit smaller ATVs. Watch out. Luckily, that young man was okay. They race on an abbreviated version of the same course the pros are out there racing on right now. And if you listen, they sound a little different. The distinctive sounds of two-strokes. These Cobra 70s, which a lot of riders have punched out to 90 cc's. That's the two-stroke limit for youth racing. Very distinctive out there. The two-stroke's pretty much gone from the adult ranks. The Cobras work pretty well out here for the youth riders. You see the much larger rider on the dirt bike. That's our sweep crew. We monitor these races quite extensively to make sure that none of these little guys and gals are having problems out there in the track. And if they do, we can rewrite them and get them back underway. Check out some of the names up front. Jay Shadron has been a strong performer all year long on his Polaris. Hunter Kilby, who is part of the Kilby Racing family, including Scott, who dominates the utility classes. But your champion today, Dylan Bradford. There you see why, wide open all day.
Off the start, I got the whole shot. Then I was just trying to hold Sammy off. Then we got through the woods, and he was ahead of me when we got into the woods. Then after that, he was leading through the whole race till to the checkpoint here, and he got hung up. So I just passed him, and I was first for the rest of the way.
You're Steele Creek GNCC champions. He figured that out real fast, didn't he?
He sure did. That's Rodney Tomlin, our live race announcer, and the kids get to shake the champagne just like these guys do, except theirs is non-alcoholic. Borch and Balance are thinking about other fluids right now, and that is the mud they are chasing each other through the creek, and now back onto the trail. Balance looks content right now to follow Borch around. He's been doing it all day long. McGill's trying to stay in touch with these guys, but it is tough. The Killer Bees put in one heck of a pace. How about Brian Cook? Moving into fourth. Haven't seen Cook up here in quite some time, but he is a native of North Carolina, and he is inspired today on the Team XL Motorsports DeRisi Racing Pirelli Honda. Borch, Balance, and McGill continue to be our top three. Now flashing through pit row a little later in this race. They will stop under those easy up tents to get fuel. Now Bittel there at number 6 almost ended up in his pit by accident, overshooting that corner. And they are all hustling to try to catch these guys. But you notice, despite the speed that Borch and Balance have right now, they don't look like they're pushing it that hard. They know it's going to be a long race, and they're probably going to battle each other right down to the checkered flag. So they will take no chances right now. Wait a minute. Balance now, as we get to our checkpoint, has taken over the lead. Don't know if that's a strategy that he wants to try to pull away right now, or if maybe Borch made a mistake. Either way, you see Borch is still right there. And these two, they probably know each other's sponsors as well as their own, because they are studying the plastic and the stickers on their machines every week. It is close like this every time around under the distinctive Steele Creek Bridge. And there you see Balance on the gas through an open section of the course. You've got to have your suspension dialed in here. And here goes Borch, going to try an inside line. But you see, he's very careful. If he would have gassed it through there, he would have just covered himself and his machine in mud and water. On the last lap, you take those kind of chances. But early in the race, there is no reason to make your life miserable. You see, McGill does the same thing. He will take the inside, but he just rolls the throttle on through there. you cover your goggles and your gloves early in the race will be a nightmare. Now Boric has moved back into the lead over Balance, so it's a back and forth one. I'm thinking that Boric made a mistake, and that's how Balance got into the lead. I think Balance would rather follow early in this one. He hasn't had the chance to do that all year long. He's going to put the pressure on his young rival. Balance out of Kentucky, Boric out of Pennsylvania, and another Pennsylvanian has moved into third now. Bithell on a rail has come up to the front, and Brian Cook still letting it all hang out. He is in fourth. Not sure what happened to McGill, who was third for the majority of the early stages of this race. Boric, Balance still pouring it on through the woods, and Bithell, you know what, this young man will let it hang out. I'm not convinced that he's going to settle for third. He would love to go after these two, but you need the good start to do it. That is really what has held Boric back early in these races, the first 2 rounds of the year. But today he got the whole shot, and he's making it work for him as he leads. And with another lap down, I would expect the pit stops to come up before long, and that's when things start to get interesting. Once these riders pit for gas at the halfway mark, that's when they step it up and pick up their pace. And you see there, Bithell looking over his shoulder. He's aware of where he is. He knows it's time to get on the gas and charge. Cook in fourth. Check out the rest of our top 10. We got to take a commercial break. We'll be back. GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, and Yamaha. Jason Wygant giving it the call here. GNCC action from North Carolina, and we said it was about to get good, and it has. Bill Balance, your new leader there, and Chris Boric has gotten stuck in a mud hole. And persistence pays off for Chris Bithell. There goes Boric, and there's Bithell right there behind him in third. So he is caught up, and Balance is in the pits by himself. All right, so Balance is away. Boric still in second, but he's got a lot of distance to make up. And the East Coast ATV crew goes to work. And you see, they got to give him new goggles and new gloves. He swamped himself out in one of those mud holes. And it is not easy to change gloves or goggles. He's going to lose more time here in the pits. Can he put his head down and catch up? Adam McGill here in the pits as well, trying to stay in the top 5. And you see he's dumping water on his back. What has happened here, the heat and humidity has risen. It's getting hot. And that means the riders need more water and more energy. And Balance has a luxury with a nice lead that he has on Boric right now. He does not have to let it all hang out. Boric, though, is going to have to put the throttle to the stops and go after it. And there you see some fans pointing out the good lines and giving him some motivation. We'll see if he can do it, and he's got Bithell, remember, right behind him. Cook and McGill also in the hunt. But when Bill Balance gets an open track like this, he's hard to stop. He has so much experience. Lap traffic doesn't affect him like it does some of the other riders. He knows where to pick and choose his lines. Again, some encouragement from the fans. And Boric is looking as far ahead on this racetrack as he can. If he can get even a glimpse of that #1 Yamaha in front of him, it's going to fire this young man up. So there's no time to waste now. Oh, Boric, he's getting more encouragement from people on the side of the racetrack. He's acknowledging them. Now you see what Balance is going to have to deal with. Some slower riders in front of him. And with the heat and humidity in this rough racetrack, those guys are going to be tired. And that makes it even more of an obstacle. And look at Balance trying to pick a smart line, and he gets held up. And that's what Boric is hoping for. Balance loses a couple of seconds right there. And that's going to allow Boric to close the gap. And he has caught him. Balance looks over his shoulder, and he knows his lead has evaporated. And Bithell doing everything he can to hold on to the rear tires of Boric to no such luck. It's once again a private duel for the lead. Balance, Boric, wait a minute. Brian Cook has flashed through the #3 spot. So he has taken over third and caught our leaders. And Bithell now is the one making mistakes and dropping back to the #4 spot. So we've got a 3-rider shootout for the lead. Balance, Boric, and the home track boy. And Boric has to look over his shoulder. Is that Brian Cook? You bet it is. Right behind him in third. Now into the open fields. And look at Boric attacking Balance, trying to get back into the lead. This is what it's all about, and he takes the lead. Chris Boric has fought all the way back. He had to stop in the pits. He had swamped himself out so bad. Wait a minute, now he slows down. I thought he was going to let Balance back around him. Neither rider wants to lead it at this point. And that allows Cook to stay right there in the hunt. So they are swapping strategies right now. Who wants the lead? Let's look at this again. In the field, Boric sets him up. He backs it in. He started on the outside. It puts him back on the inside. And then he's going to shut the door on Balance in the next corner to take the lead. Now, surprisingly, it looked like Balance might have had a line in the next corner. Nothing doing. We're going to flash back into our morning race. This is for our utility riders, also our women and novice racers out here. And you see all the yellow quads. That's the Can-Am Outlanders up front in these classes. Lots of horsepower. Now, women's class traditionally are the ones that battle for the overall. Tracy Checo on the factory Yamaha and Stephanie Parton on the factory Polaris were battling today. And I'll tell you what, these ladies can absolutely fly. And that's why they win the overalls against the utilities, the novice riders. It's unbelievable what these women can do. Now, Rick Checo has had all kinds of bad luck this year on the factory Can-Am. He's super fast in this open 4x4 class, but he is yet to be able to keep it in one piece down to the finish line. Scott Kilby, multi-time champ of this class, he has been the consistent one, at least in comparison to Checo. Look at some of these other riders trying to just keep it upright here. And the utilities excel in these muddy sections. They don't slow down through here at all. They want to take advantage of the four-wheel drive and some of the other features that they have. And watch out when you get a utility rider behind you. You want to get out of the way. These machines, 700 to 800 pounds, they can do some damage. And look at them in the mud just hauling through there. If we get some rain at these races later in the season, all these utility guns are going to be on the gas. Checo continuing to lead it in the open 4x4 class on the 399, just trying to keep it in one piece. Checo, a former A-class racer in this series before on sport quads, he knows how to go fast, but he is still learning how to keep these 4x4 machines in one piece. Parton now running up front in the women's class. The Polaris machines have independent rear suspension, a good smooth ride and lots of ground clearance, but a little bit heavier than what Checo is chasing her on the Yamaha. Now we get Jennifer Albright in a Yamaha there, right behind Checo as well. She has been a contender and a podium finisher overall before. And you can't forget Angel Atwell. And here comes Angel out of Pennsylvania. She is one of the riders to beat in this women's class as well. That's unbelievable how competitive they are. All these ladies train and ride and practice during the week. They work on their own equipment. It's pretty impressive what competition will do for you in this sport. But when the checkered flag came out, it was Checo taking yet another win. 3 wins in 3 rounds this year. Stay with us. GNCC Racing On Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Rocky Mountain, and Yamaha. Welcome back to the race action, and Chris Borch has taken the lead, and there you see why. Letting it all hang out. Balance is going to have to dig down deep. He has run a comfortable pace all day, and with Borch having to dig down from the back of the pack after a mistake, that pace has carried him not only to the lead, but he is extending it. Cook and Bithell still 3rd and 4th. Back onto the racetrack, Borch out of the checkpoint. If he can maintain this pace to the end, he will be hard to stop. But there you see Balance now, not out of it yet. If you can get a glimpse at Borch as he can right now, that's going to give him the motivation to try to run him down as the checkered flag is about to come out in this one. So great racing here in North Carolina. And this is what happens when you make a mistake. We got our riders hung up and stuck. And that's what the leaders hope to avoid. The fans always try to help you out. Balance, he's running out of time. Borch, look at him just dancing his way over those huge whoops. Balance going to try an outside line. Now, we talked about it. This is where you're going to let it hang out a little bit more than he did earlier, but Borch knows he's got lap traffic in front. They go all the way to the right to avoid the soft mud and the deep ruts and avoid getting hung up. It's a battle now. Back to the field. Running out of time. Balance is going to have to try to find a way around, and you see Cook is not that far back there as well. Cook has not won a GNCC since 05, so he would love for these two to take each other out and tangle. A 3-rider shootout headed toward the checkered flag here at Steele Creek. If they tag one of those trees, their day is over, so you've got to try to balance it, no pun intended. Go as fast as you can, but do not make any mistakes. Here we go into the field for the last time. Does Balance have a line figured out? We saw these riders go back and forth one lap and go through this section. Balance is going to put it to the stops. He's on the outside, switching to the inside. Borch with a look over his shoulder. He knows he's got him covered. Only a few corners remain in this one. Another classic between the Killer Bees. But Borch has got it in control. And Chris Borch is going to take his first win of the season in dramatic fashion. And the fans here appreciate it. What a run here. Congratulations to Cook with his first podium of the year. And William Yoakley from way back ends up 5th. Great job by all these guys. They put on one heck of a show. Let's talk to our winners.
Yeah, finally I got a good motor in there. I got my Sparks motor in, and finally got a good start, and I just started having fun, and me and Bill hooked up, and Brian Cook hooked up, and we were just having a great time out there, so it was a good race.
Yeah, I had a line picked out up here, but there was course marshals in it. As plain as day, I was coming down through here to the 8th mile to go, and I thought for sure I had this thing won, and I had a line picked out. It lasted all day long, and there you know, it's people standing in your line, so oh well. It is what it is, but it's good to finish second. We got the points lead. We got a good start to the year.
A little rough at the start. I had a decent start, but I was getting real nervous and pumping up, and was able to get by Brandon Balance and Dwayne, and Chris Bithell caught up to me, and he seemed like he had a good pace, so I let him around and just tagged on to him and tried to feed off what he was doing, and seemed to be the right thing to do because I was able to step the pace up to his, and we caught up to Borch, and he had stalled it up back here behind the pro pits in the mud hole, and I was able to squeeze around him there.
Oh, what a race today, and Chris Borch is on the board and on the podium. For Rodney Smith and Rachel Ayers, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, Riding, Racing. AMA. Join now.